Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Greenfield Village Railway. For the safety of our younger riders, we ask that the adults with them place themselves on the outside of the road. If it's not practical, just make sure that they are held or easily within your reach. Also, we ask that you do not stand up and move around whatsoever while the train's in motion, keeping your head, hands, and feet inside the cars at all times. Eating and drinking is not permitted, but water from an enclosed water bottle is just fine, and do stay hydrated today. It's going to be a warm one. We are heading over to the Firestone station, so sit back and enjoy your train ride. Thank you. We're going to say goodbye to our station master, Sue, and to Jerry, our presenter over at the Smiths Creek Station Depot. We're in Railroad Junction right now, and that depot that you see there was built in 1858 by the Grand Trunk Railway. Smiths Creek was located about 10 miles west of Port Huron, Michigan. Going inside, Jerry's there to tell you more about the life of a station master who worked 24/7. The Grand Trunk Railway provided him with a home to live in right next to his workplace. Henry Ford bought this particular depot here because it has a young Thomas Edison connection. Go in and find out. It's very interesting. Across the street is the Edison Illuminating Power Plant. Henry Ford worked as one of his very first professional jobs as a steam engineer. And then we have our new Detroit Central Marketplace built in the year 1860. We have a presenter there that will tell you about the past of that building and also about the future use. In fact, on August 27th and 28th next weekend, there will be vendors here in the building. Please come over and see. Learn more about nutrition, about planting, from soil to serve. Next, we have the Detroit-Toledo-Milwaukee Roundhouse built in the year 2000, made to look like one from Marshall, Michigan in the year 1884. We come into our Liberty Craft Works district. Here you are able to see artisans at work, pottery making, weaving, a printing shop, and glass blowing. They're working with the same tools they would have used back in the 1880s and skills as well. We have the Davidson Gerson Gallery of Glass with glass pieces from the 1700s to modern day, and Armington and Sons Machine Shop built in 1929. Now we come into our seventh and final district. It's called Working Farms. Here you can enjoy the sounds, sights, and feel and smells of a real working farm. We show life like that of 1885, where our staff dressed in period clothing are carrying out chores just like they would have on the farm. The farmhouse that you see just up ahead is the birthplace of Harvey Firestone that was built in 1828. He was born in 1868 from Columbiana, Ohio. The person who supplied Henry Ford with tires for the Model T cars. We have sheep, cows, horses, and chickens on this farm. Do visit the barn, especially if you have young ones. They will definitely enjoy watching the animals and their interactions. As we come into the Firestone station, please remain seated. The engineer will set a brake, giving us the sound of a single whistle that lets us know it's safe to come off the train. You're going to exit to your right side at the station, and we're here for about 8 minutes. Look over at the pasture on your left, you'll see some merino sheep. They're special in that they have wrinkly skin, providing us with more wool. Maybe you have some garment that says it's made of merino wool. You have these sheep to thank for that. We'll say hi to Anna and Pat, our station masters, as we pull into the station. Once again, wait until you hear the sound of that whistle before you stand. Ready for the whistle, please sit down. Now,
Yeah, I know. It's there for all
snowball bread?
No, because that was my favorite sandwich. I like the chicken salad sandwich with the hobo bread. And I was like, don't you guys have that? And they're like, no, we don't do it.
Well, they might.
Where they
I
sell
think
it?
they sell it somewhere. No, we didn't. We did. We're just looking around the shops. We got a small snack. Bag of chips.
I knew
We were snacky. So you guys kept talking about food and made me more hungry. You blew it. You blew it. They sell it. I saw it there at the restaurant. I am.
I see you made it on the train.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Greenfield Village and the Greenfield Village Railway. For the safety of our younger riders, we ask the adults with them place themselves on the outside of the road. If it's not practical, just make sure that they are held or easily within your reach. Also, we ask that you do not stand up and move around while the train's in motion, keeping your head, hands, and feet inside the cars at all times. Eating and drinking is not permitted, but water from an enclosed water bottle is just fine, and we want you to stay hydrated. Sit back and enjoy your train ride as we move on to
No beer for either one of you.
Susquehanna and Smiths Creek
No
Station.
drinking and
Coming
drive.
right back here in about 30 minutes. Thank you.
He's like,
We're going to wave goodbye to Anna and to Alana, our station masters. Thank you for getting everybody on board and getting them on safely. When you came into the gates of Greenfield Village today, you came into over 300 years of American history, a dream that Henry Ford had. He wanted everyone to come and see what people long ago made with their hands and used with their hands, so you would be inspired. So make your own history here today at Greenfield Village. Learn about the people who sparked our minds and changed the world. Greenfield Village is divided into 7 districts. The very first one is the Henry Ford Model T. Here you can see the home that Henry Ford was born in on the 2nd floor on July 30th, 1863, the oldest of 6 children. After visiting there and listening to presenters tell you about his early life, walk over to the Ford Motor Company, learn how he came up with the vision of a motor car that changed the world of transportation, the Model T in 1908. Then take a ride on one of our Model Ts sometime today. Our next district takes us into our Main Street district here. We have the Wright Brothers home and the Wright Brothers cycle shop. 2 brothers who divided gravity and gave us the ability to fly. That day in Kitty Hawk, 1903. Then Mrs. Cohen's millinery shop, where staff dressed in period clothing are making hats and other accessories like she did back in the 1880s, and they are for purchase. We also have the Heinz house built in 1854 from Blacksburg, Pennsylvania. We have the Herschel Spoon and Carousel built in 1913. Take a ride on a 109-year-old carousel. The statue of Thomas Edison takes us into Edison at Works, the machine shop on the far right. And in front of us, the 2-story structure. The laboratory is what's upstairs. We call it the Invention Factory, where Edison and his crew worked on the incandescent light bulb, the phonograph, improving on the telephone and the telegraph. Edison received over 420 patents while he worked at the Menlo Park complex, and single men that worked for him would rent a room over at Sarah Jordan's boarding house. It's that yellow house you see there. It made history in December of 1889, in that it was the very first home in the entire world fitted for electricity. You could see the wires running inside the walls. And when he wintered in Florida, he continued work on his experiments at his Fort Myers laboratory from 1980s until 1931. And then we have the home of Robert Frost, the poet, at Porches and Parlors. We also have Noah Webster's home. He's the person who came up with the American Dictionary of the English Language back in 1828. He's also responsible for the blue back speller that taught millions of children to read and write. If you are planning on attending the baseball game that starts at 1:30, first pitch, this is the stop that you will come off. As we pull into the Susquehanna station, please remain seated. The engineer's going to set a brake and give us the sound of a single whistle, letting us know it's safe to come off the train. You will exit to your left side at the station and we'll wave hi to Mike, our station master, as we pull in. We're here for only about 4 minutes and then we're moving out to Smith Street Station. Once again, stay seated until you hear the whistle. Keeping your head, hands, and feet inside the cars at all times, and people with small children make sure that they are held at easy within their reach. We are moving on to the Smith Street Station at this time. Let's take a ride to Mike, our station master, as we pull away. Over to the left, you'll see the Susquehanna plantation that was 700 acres big, built in 1835 before the Civil War. The Carroll family owned this plantation as they owned 65 African Americans that they enslaved. Going inside, listen to a story about the hardships that the people that worked the plantation endured while working for the Carroll family. Then we have the Clifton family home, built in the late 1650s from Sudbury, Massachusetts. This is the oldest American home that we have here at Greenfield Village. Mr. and Mrs. Clinton raised 7 children in that house. Here we have the Ferris windmill that was built in 1650 from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It's the oldest standing windmill in the United States. And then we have a presenter here from our Daggett family farmhouse, built in 1754 from Canterbury, Connecticut. Go inside and learn what life was like in the American Revolutionary War time. And then take a look at Dave. He's one of our Model T drivers. Hope you see yourself riding in one of these cars today. Over to the left, we have our pasture for our draft Bergeron and Morgan horses. This is a place for them to get a little rest time from pulling the wagons around the Greenfield Village. Back in 1970, the staff at the Greenfield Village decided to build a railway around Greenfield Village. They continued working on plans, and then on August 22nd, 1972, 2 years later, was the inaugural train ride around the Greenfield Village. That's almost 50 years to the day, come Monday. The locomotive that was pulling the passenger train that day was the Torch Lake that was built in 1873, and it happens to be the oldest running steam locomotive in the country on a regular schedule. The locomotive that's pulling our train right now is the Torch Lake. It's 149 years old, and here it is almost to the day of the anniversary of our perimeter railway. Happy 50th anniversary to the railway around Greenfield Village. The Torch Lake was built by the Mason Machine Works Company. It's a tank engine. That means that the coal and the water are right there on the locomotive itself. Steam engine functions with coal and water. Coal is fed into a firebox where it gets very hot and it heats the water in the boiler. It creates steam. The steam then moves through pipes that move through the pistons that cause the wheels to turn. Essentially, that's how a steam locomotive works. Sit back and enjoy some of the sounds that you hear from the steam locomotive as we move through our wildlife preserve area. From people like you who come out to the museum or the village to visit. We so heartedly thank you for your support, and we sure hope that you are having a wonderful day here at the Greenfield Village. Not a member? I should take the monies that you spent on your tickets today and use it towards a membership. Only coming two more times pays for a membership that is good for the entire year. We are now coming to our Walnut Grove area. Historic baseball is taking place. Historic baseball is played according to the rule book of 1867. Our players are dressed in period clothing from that time, and they use the same type of equipment. Today's teams are the Latidas. They're the ones dressed in red and white, and they're playing against the Northville Eclipse. Some of the rules from the 1867 rule book is no bunting, no sliding, no cursing, no spitting, and no gloves. Our players do not wear mitts. Instead, they catch those fly balls with their bare hands. Oh. So come up. First pitch is at 1:30. You don't need a blanket or a chair. Come and pull up place on the lawn and come watch what historic baseball was like played back in Detroit back in the day. In front of us is the Henry Ford Academy High School that was built in 1997. A charter school, and we have over 500 students this past school year. Another school year will begin at the end of this month. 9th graders have classes over at the museum. 10th through 12th graders right here. Henry Ford always believed that learning to do is by doing, and the students can take what they studied in the classroom and they can go into the museum and village and see firsthand what they studied. These vintage Pullman cars were converted into classrooms for the privileged senior class. To be a student here, one must live in Wayne County, Michigan. After submitting an application, it's the luck of the draw in which you're able to attend high school here 4 years, and it's all tuition free. To the left of us is the Swanee Lagoon. It serves as a catch basin in case we have some heavy rains. It mitigates flooding that we might have. Those were turkeys. Over to the left and up the hill, you'll see a chapel that Henry Ford built in honor of his mother-in-law and his mother Mary Ford. Oh, that one called the building. The engineers releasing some steam out of the locomotive so that the calcium deposits and other debris in the boiler can be emitted. No place to animals on time. Next to the chapel, we have the Scotch Settlement Schoolhouse built in 1861 for young Thomas Edison and Henry Ford attended in his early years. For those of you who have children, we have games on the village green. They're Miss North type games. I think the kids would really enjoy playing them. Next to us is the Taste of History restaurant, where we have lunch serving until 3 o'clock. Many selections come from our historic homes here at the village. Food's locally sourced. Next to that is the Eagle Tavern restaurant. When you step into the doors there, you walk into 1850. Wait staff dressed in period clothing will hand you a menu with food selections that were popular back then. Both restaurants are serving meals only up until 3 o'clock today. We are now pulling into the Smiths Creek Station. I highly recommend a short walk over to the Herschel's Film and Care Stop should you be getting off here. As we pull into the station, remain seated. The engineer is going to set a brake and give us the sound of a single whistle, letting us know it's safe to come off the train. Wait hi to Sue, our station master, as we pull in. He'll exit to your left side as we come into the station, and we're only here for about 4 minutes. Wait for the whistle. been used with their hands. So that you might be sparked by something that they've invented. The Greenfield Village is divided into 7 different districts, and the very first one is the Henry Ford Model T. This will work for the rest of the state like farmhouse. We have the first section was born on July 30th, 1863 on the second floor of that farmhouse. The oldest of 6 children. We have to say we're coming north